So I'm not sure what happened with F3, but at 10 o'clock there was Oracle hadn't received the link, and I was still sitting backstage. So uh, technical difficulties. I am going to invite, copy. I'm going to email this to Oracle. Not sure what the fuck is going on. Anyway, um, as again, not sure what's happening over at F3, but at 10 o'clock, Oracle hadn't got the link yet, and I was still sitting backstage. So I'm not sure what the technical difficulty was, but I'm not really too keen on not having control of the show. And anyway, but here we are. Just waiting on Oracle now. I sent him a link. Um, and if he comes over here, we'll bring him up. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Uh, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know what I don't know. I do know that I am on time, usually 10 minutes early for everything. Um, but that's me. It's always the way I have been. I do have my coffee. Wow, crazy stuff. I did go on Oracle's live last night. Oh, shit. You guys could probably not even barely hear me here. Let me move my mic over. And there, it might be a little bit easier to hear me now. Yeah, I'm kind of a mess myself this morning. I did change cameras over. I went back to my Canon EOS 50, whatever the hell it is. Uh, yeah, Hiram, don't worry about it, buddy. GMK, once Oracle is on. No, Oracle seemed to be there. He didn't have a link. I sent him the link, and then I sent him the link to this one. So I don't know. Let me go back and look at. Yeah, there's absolutely nothing going on over there. Yeah, and what a fucking shit show. So I know based oracle was over on the other. Thanks, Scott. I saw where you posted over there. This link's for Oracle if he's in here. Old Sarge Finkel, thanks for the 762, brother. 240 Bravo used to be the M60 back in the day. The old pig. Yeah, not sure what happened. No, they didn't forget. They knew, and the links went out at like 4:00 this morning, and so I don't know what happened. I don't know if it was a technical difficulty, if it was a computer crash, or I have no idea. And Jeff just sent me a text. He's like, can you go live and stuff? And I'm like, no. I had absolutely no capabilities to do anything with it. So I'm just waiting on Oracle.
Jeff Appleby.
Yep. I'm going to mute this out. Too early in the morning for technical shit, I guess. Yeah, for some reason I had absolutely no control over the channel. And by the time it was all figured out, I sorry, but I'm very punctual. If I'm supposed to be on at 10 o'clock, I'm on at 10 o'clock, and that's where we're at. So that's, geez, that's bright. I forgot what all my lighting settings were for this camera. So, hey, there he is.
How's it going?
I don't know. I don't know what all the technical difficulties were this morning. I sat backstage for ever. Had no way to control the channel, so I couldn't even go live. I did send you the link to that channel. And then when I saw that I couldn't do anything, I just fired it up over here, which is fine. I don't know what the technical difficulties were, but it's just got to be a setting that wasn't clicked or something. Not a big deal. Anyway, wait a minute. We got to play my intro here for Throat Punch Thursday because everybody expects it.
So I met this chick at the bar.
Yeah?
Oh, she was hot. She was just like, hey,
man,
you just want to
awesome.
And I was like, yeah.
Too easy.
Yeah. Oh, hey.
CIB. Oh. Hey, where'd you earn that CIB at?
The PX? What? It's not stolen valor. I bought it with my...
So I had some subs that made that intro for me. Uh, the initial video clip is from Grunt Style. They had that video that they had made up, and it's pretty funny. They do a lot of the Stolen Valor stuff. So sorry for all the confusion this morning.
No, all good. I'm here.
Uh, I was glad to get on your panel last night and chat a little bit. It was rather unusual circumstances after everything that transpired yesterday. Um, I'm pretty much done with it. It's it's just one of those things.
Yeah, no, I hear you. My channel was pretty much an unusual circumstance, so it was very normal for me. But yeah, a lot of chaos and kind of drama.
Yeah, and you've got a very subtle way of just kind of staying even keel through it all, which is kind of refreshing. I don't take anything personal. All the things that have been said about me here recently, as a matter of fact, I kind of embrace the MSG retarded moniker. Yeah, okay, it is what it is. You know, you can say what you want. Um, what I do like to do when I first start off with the Throat Punch Thursday is I like to review a little bit about a couple of my most notorious stolen valor thieves. The first one being Jeremy DeWitt, who was also a prolific police impersonator down in Florida. Made up an entire special forces career, promoted himself over the years from lieutenant to captain to major. Um, it's actually quite comical the way it all went, but he jumped into Fallujah. Um,
Yeah, I've come
yeah,
across a few in my time. I
yeah.
don't search them out or anything, but people talk, and there's some people who like to claim that they're in, but within a few minutes, I can normally tell. I think.
Yeah, it's and that's why GS kind of surprised me so much. I got the first impression ever seeing him that yeah, this is a military dude.
Yeah.
But then as time went on, his misinterpretation of things that are said or posted, and something wasn't right, and some of the stories didn't make any sense. And he says he never said some of the things. However, there's videos of him saying it. And some of the stories didn't make sense. And I was like, all right. So I had made that post. I went on his live stream. Um, Pretty much nothing became of that. I knew it wouldn't. He threatened to destroy my credibility, which good luck with that. Um, I mean, I think I'm pretty credible. I've never called out anyone incorrectly, and I've always been pretty much spot on with my interpretations and what I have been able to dig up. And like I said, by the time I was done with the live stream with him, I didn't even know his name at the time. By the time we got off of that live stream, my inbox was full of everything I needed to be able to submit a FOIA request on him. So that's what I did. And the first thing I did was I checked the SIRA database, and I found both of his active duty stints. So I knew that he was in the military. Um, and again, I'm done with him. Um, I don't think there's any redeeming capabilities that are going to come of it with me to continue to engage with him. Um, so he will be cast off into the darkness with the rest of the ones that I have cast off in the past.
Well, he's still no, I totally get you. He's still open with me, and I get it. He probably wasn't very happy about last night, but the truth is the truth, and I'm not saying he's a liar. What I'm saying is there's certain things that he knows that he could work on that would benefit him, And last night, I think, was somewhat of an exemplification of that. Because, I mean, the examples I was giving him, if this was me, I don't care. I'm not so caught up in it that I'm emotionally swayed and upset, triggered, however you want to put it. And I do empathize with him somewhat in terms of, I think that this is kind of an immaturity and one that he can get over. However, it's going to be some work. It's not magic. And I don't want to take away from his service or anyone else's, but I think that he is taking away from it when he aligns with it so closely that he feels, scorned if anyone makes a joke or, the way that things went down. And I think that's
Yeah.
a detriment to him more than anyone else.
And I think that's something that's, I think there's some issues that have carried over from his active duty service where, some of that might have been going on during his active duty. Like I said, that guy, um, it is, you could pick that guy out, pretty much anybody that's been in the military. And if you don't know what we're talking about when I say that guy, then most likely you were that guy. Because I have run across that before. Um, but yeah, and I got drawn into him for like the stupidest thing because I made a comment and I tried to explain to people it's not illegal to get somebody's DD 214. And I said, all these people. And he took that as an attack on him. And I was like, dude, I didn't even know your name. And you're saying that I'm already getting your records? Well, guess what? I am now because you done poked the bear. And I had a dozen people send me emails with all your information. So I'm sure everything I get back from MPRC is going to completely match. And I was so happy that he posted close-up bits of his DD214. I was able to look at that, and I have looked at so many DD214s over the past 10 years. You can tell a fake immediately, whether it be the font, the shading, whatever. But I mean, his DD214 seems to be a legitimate DD214. There is a mistake in regards to his overseas time. That wasn't adding up because his first enlistment, he did a year in Korea. And then he was doing a 3-year tour in Germany and was deployed to Afghanistan while he was with the unit in Germany. But none of that he only had like 2 years and some change on overseas time, which didn't add up correctly. So, I find mistakes in DD214s all the time.
Yeah. Yeah, I think mine was correct. However, I was telling him because I know he was a little upset about things not matching up and whatever. And I said, look, the VA and, military in general love to fuck up paperwork. When I first got out, I got put on I think it was called the Red Team at the VA. But to what I understand, it was for people who didn't deploy, for, service people. And I was like, what the fuck? And they're like, oh, yeah, we lost your records, and it says that you never deployed, and, this type of thing. And after a few months, it got cleared up, but it's like, wow, you guys are the keeper of records. Like, how do you mess this up?
Well, that's like with me. My VA rating and stuff, they don't even have any time listed. I don't know if you see where in your benefits, it lists the times of your service that you're receiving the benefits for. It doesn't even have anything from my first enlistment from 78 to 92. And that's when I spent my time at Fort Bragg on airborne status, had a fractured back, screwed up hands, screwed up knees. And, all of that it's not even listed in there, which is kind of unusual.
Yeah.
But, yeah, the VA and in the military. I'm sorry. Uh, the VA and the military, yeah, they can make a mess out of the math for sure. But anyway, let's all of that. Jeremy DeWitt, he's got something going on in July. He's got 5 felony charges pending, Orange County, Florida. You can look up his court records. He's got a jury trial, and this is all dealing with insurance fraud, um, staging motor vehicle accidents, and things of that nature. On top of everything else he's already got going on, and I also believe he is still spewing his military bullshit to anybody that'll listen. Um, and it's funny too because it all gets caught on video and gets posted. And of course, Kaiser. Um, what more to say? Everybody says that he came clean about it, but he's never come out and talked about all of the bullshit stories he came up with. Um, Being a staff sergeant and leading soldiers, the Humvee at 70 miles an hour. The list goes on and on and on. But he's never come out with a video and apology for stolen valor. So until they do that, and when they do, I leave them alone. But until they do that, I just keep after them. And I don't even remember how Todd. I think Todd got brought into this because F3 was trying to, hey, what are you doing? You're supporting this guy, and he's stolen valor, and you're a combat vet, or you're in the military, or whatever. I don't get involved with a lot of that. I just kind of sit in the background and request records, verify claims, and try and stay in my lane. So, how about your service? You were Marine Corps.
Yep. Yeah. 08 to 12.
08. What? You're gonna have to.
No, 2008 to
2008 to
2012.
2012. Okay, when you said 08, I thought you were talking about an MOS or something because I know they got like
Yeah.
03 this and 04s and whatever.
Yeah. Yep. 0341 Mortarman.
Mortarman. Cool.
Yeah. 81 millimeter.
That's pretty hefty hunk of metal to be humping around.
Yeah. I think the barrel was like 35 pounds, and then the base plate like 29 or 30. They were all around 30, and then the bipods, I think were around 30. So yeah, humping them on top of gear was it was a bunch of fun. Especially when somebody falls out and you find yourself carrying two pieces.
Yeah, that can't be fun. Cannot be fun. And so 08 to 12 deployment.
Yeah, I did 2 MEUs, Marine Corps Expeditionary Unit. And the first one was on the way to Afghanistan. I think it was 2010. There was like a year workup after training. It was kind of a long workup. So I think it was 10. And we were headed to Afghanistan, and then a tsunami broke out in Pakistan, and our whole deployment diverged into a humanitarian mission. So,
Wow.
and then second deployment ended up in Okinawa. It was a primarily Okinawan deployment, and went all over Asia, South Korea, on the DMZ, did some training there, and then training ops in Thailand, Australia with the Aussie. I don't know if they were Aussie Marines or Aussie military, but I know South Korea was the ROC Marines, right? The Korean. And yeah, other than that, I think I brought up before. Actually, I don't know if it was with you the other night, but pretty much due to the humanitarian mission, ended up in a combat zone briefly. I mean, I think fairly briefly. But the most action that my deployment unit saw was taking down a pirate ship, a Somalian pirate ship, which was on the first deployment. And other than that, I think the humanitarian mission pretty much stopped us from engaging in Afghanistan, which was still fairly hot at that time, to my understanding. And that's what we thought we were doing. That's what we were, prepared for as best we can be. And the fact it didn't happen, of course, you got a bunch of Marines like, oh man, I want action. This isn't action. I mean, but I think at the end of the day, it was a good thing. So,
Yeah, especially that late in the war. And luckily, you weren't involved with the catastrophic pullout of
yeah,
Afghanistan.
right after 20 years when they are allegedly stronger than ever. So my reaction was, well, what the fuck were we doing there then? Right? Definitely, dead brothers in Afghanistan, right? People I was with 1 week and a whole platoon schwacked the next. And what was that all for if they're now stronger than ever, according to our government?
Yeah, it was just amazing. Well, they should have pulled out of there once Bin Laden was taken out. It should have been game over. Um, I mean, that was the perpetrator of 9/11. Um, and I think once he was finally taken out, um, that pretty much brought them to their knees financially for a bit. And that's when we should have done our drawdown and pulled out. That's just me speaking. Um, I don't know. I didn't go to Afghanistan. I was in Iraq, and that's another ball of wax. Um, why we were there. I think we went in with good intentions. I think Saddam Hussein needed to be taken out of power. His two sons were just like animals, and but I think we spent way too much time trying to westernize them um, rather than let them do their own thing. But again, that's just me.
Yeah, I'd look at it like in general. I think that probably most servicemen and women had good intentions. However, as time has gone past and the way I understand the world, who I don't think had good intentions from the beginning is our own government. I don't think that this was a good war overall, and I don't think that probably many, if not any, certainly in my lifetime, were actually doing what we were supposed to be doing, which is fighting for the freedom of Americans. And it doesn't all add up to me that over 20 years, as we just talked about, they're stronger than ever. And all that time, they could have, I'm just playing devil's advocate, they could have done something else similar, worse than, with the towers, and that never happened again, which is good, but I'm just saying it doesn't all add up to me.
Yep. I'm just trying to catch up with some of the chat because I wasn't on there. And as usual, I always kind of ignore my chat. Um, I don't engage with them. I don't need to fight a chat. Um, but now we got 75 people watching. That's not bad, especially at 10 o'clock in the morning on a Thursday. Usually I'm around 50 or 60, but this is good.
You got a special guest today,
Oh, that's
Master
it.
Sergeant. Yeah.
That's what it is. And I'm glad you accepted coming on here. Like I said, You hadn't been on my radar, and Josh is the one that told me to go check you out. He had been in contact with you, and I was really glad to get on your panel last night. Um, it was kind of refreshing the way you were jumping, putting people front and center, and you kept control over what was going on. There was very little people talking over, and when there are people talking over, you tend to deal with it quickly.
I
Because there was
try. Still
that
working
one
on
guy
it.
that got in there, and you kicked him right to the curb.
Oh
Uh,
yeah, yeah, yeah. You know, those types of things are. I'm not for it. The spewing of allegations with no backup and just taking cheap shots behind an avatar. I'm not. I'm not for that. So that's one of the few times that somebody gets kicked.
yep, yep. Oh, and the spewing allegations behind avatars. That would be Vegas Vips. He does that quite regular. So you'll learn more about him as time goes on. I'm sure. I don't know how much of a association you've had with him, but yeah, enough said. You'll figure that one out pretty quickly. Oh boy, I missed a bunch. Old Sarge, man, Old Sarge is just like just banging me in here. He's throwing money at me. I feel like I should be on a stripper pole. But yeah, Old Sarge Finkel is great. He's a good guy. Um, I don't play to either side of the aisle when it comes to a lot of this. Um, right now, it's this frauditor, auditor whole thing. Um, I don't really fall on either side of it. I listen to both sides, um, and I find it completely amazing what goes on. And but I, like I said, I got brought into this more because of the military claims. So that's how I got drawn into this group. And there's been other groups in the past. This is just the most recent. I mean, I'm working on a current target right now. Um, Guy claiming to be 11 Bravo infantry, Army infantry enlisted, and then as a captain medevac pilot in Afghanistan. Um, the chances of going from an enlisted infantry guy to a captain medevac pilot, man, I'll tell you, you got to really be on your game to be able to choose the aviation branch coming out of OCS, which I'm assuming that's how he did it, if in fact he did it. But there's just a lot of questions on this gentleman, and I'm not going to go any further, but that's what we're digging into right now. And I'm just waiting to get some information back. Like I said, I won't ask questions unless I know the answers. Um, and that's pretty much, oh, stripper pole only gets $1 tip. Well, that's all right. Just as long as you don't want change.
Yeah, it all adds up.
So hopefully this will get you some more subs. How long have you had your channel going? Let's talk about your channel a little bit because it is a
Yeah.
very unique channel. You just invite people up on an open panel, and whatever happens, happens. And GS has been very vocal on your channel here most recently. Um, Seems as though he kind of looks up to you a little bit in regards to the way you handle things. Um,
So yeah, I've had it about a year. Although really, I look at it as more like a few months, because I started live streaming, just dabbling in the fall. You know, zero watchers, that sort of thing, and I picked it back up after making pretty much no progress around I don't know, March, maybe end of February. And since then, probably have live streamed 5, 6 times a week, something like that. And generally at this point, keep it to around 2 hours. And yeah, look at it as a space that people can, say their opinions, spew a little bit from time to time, and, have some fun. Although it's not always fun for everyone. I know, for instance, GS has had a few times he wasn't too happy, and took him a little bit of time to, maybe get over it and come back another day. But with that, I don't have any, bad intentions for him or anyone else. It's, I don't know, a learning experience, and I think some people who come on could use, a little bit more emotional control of themselves and, discipline when it comes to their outrage and their feelings. So hopefully, there's some kind of impact. Yes, thank you, Cran Eater, indeed. Thank you, Cliff. Yeah.
Uh, that's right. I didn't hit you with any crayon jokes right off the bat. That's unusual. Because that's like, and I'm sure every Marine just gets sick of hearing about the crayon thing, because that is what gets thrown out. And old Sarge again. And old Sarge again. He's just like throwing shit at me here. Uh, so yeah, and hopefully this will, like I said, this will bring you some more subscribers. I hope. Um, but what I like about it is, you came on, no nonsense, talked about your military career, talked about your channel. Um, where do you see yourself going with the channel?
Well, that's a complicated question. For one thing, I don't trust YouTube very much. I've had strikes in the past and things like that on a different channel. So I don't put a lot of faith into the sustainability of YouTube, just given that if they want to ban you tomorrow, they can do it. And I don't think that usually is the case, that they just go out and flagrantly ban creators for no reason. However, a lot of things that I get into talking about are not popular within the TOS or within the mainstream narratives, the disinformation age. So I kind of just take it by the day. But where I'd like to go is, more viewership, more of a voice in the YouTube online community. I think that YouTube has turned into a bit of what TV used to be, right? In terms of people are doing reality shows in a sense. I mean, even my panel is to some degree kind of a reality show. So, yep. Yeah, more voice, reaching more people. So I know that's kind of vague, but that's pretty much where I'm at.
Yeah, and I agree with you about the reality show thing, because it all is. I mean, we're sitting here just two vets chatting, um, shooting the breeze, and we got 65 people right now, according to my thing, listening in. And we talked about your military career and your channel and that stuff, and I've talked about my other two current stolen valor, prolific stolen valor guys. Let's talk a little more about your military career. You said that you guys went over to Korea and worked with the ROC Marines. What was your first impression when you got a good whiff of Korea when you got there?
I mean, I we were in the field. I mean, I didn't really see much of Korea outside the field. But I remember it was raining and cold as fuck, and we were probably out in the field, just doing our mortars at the DMZ. I think it was a week or two,
Uh-huh.
and just tending it out, that sort of thing. But it was kind of funny. So the Rock Marines, came and joined us for a bit, and they're bringing like it looks like takeout food, right? They have like real food in the field, and we're eating MREs, of course, and it was kind of like shit. That looks good, whatever you got. But we traded some gear with them, like hat for hat type of thing, cover,
Yep.
stuff like that. I ended up with a South Korean pair of, I don't know, they were like red military shorts. I'm not sure what they were, but I was like, cool. Other than that, had a little bit of a misinterpretation with our interpreter and the Koreans. Some conversation when they first got there, like, I mean, it was dumb. It was like, oh, so do you guys like North Korea? And my platoon's like, no, we're against North Korea. But it turned out our translator had North and South wrong, so there was like a few moments of contention.
A little bit of tension there, maybe.
Yeah, I mean it was quick, under the bridge in no time. But yeah, there was a little minor standoff, nothing crazy. But yeah, I didn't have any problem with Korea. I thought it was,
I
it
was
was
there.
fine.
I was there a long time ago, 79, 80. I did a 1 year tour. And the one thing I'll never forget, is the banjo ditch, the smell, the pungent odor of excrement, because I got there in the summertime or early summertime, but had a very unusual smell. But the
Mm.
local cuisine, the kimchi, and I don't know if you got a chance to sample any of that, but I actually acquired a taste for it and enjoyed it.
Well, I do now. I do like kimchi, but I'm trying to remember. I think when we landed there, we had to take a bus for some length, and I might be mixing it up. This is like 14 years ago. But anyways, I remember stopping on their little highway, and they had like some random, I mean to us, random meats that were cooking outside a gas station type of deal. And some of us were hungry. I mean, it was pretty common that we couldn't eat. I mean, that was just a common theme in the field. At times, 12-mile hike, and resupply didn't make it, this type of thing. So, anyways, we got this gas station vendor food, and it was not good. And when I say not good, I don't mean that it tastes bad. It just it didn't sit well. Like, are we eating some kind of like vermin? Like, is this a rat? We weren't quite sure on that.
But you,
But
you, you were a little bit far north for dog meat.
yeah, okay, well that's good. That's good. Whatever it
So,
was.
yeah, Piontek, farther south below Osan Air Force Base, they were known for dog markets.
Hmm.
So I think you were a little bit too far north for the dog meat, but you never know what you could have been eating, because they had some unusual things on those little trailers that they were cooking up, those little carts.
Yeah. Yeah.
How about Japan? I've never been there.
Yeah. Yeah, Okinawa was muggy and hot all the time, right? Woke up at 6 a.m. or whenever reveille, and just in a pile of sweat, that type of thing. But Japan, I mean, I liked Japan overall. We, got liberty a lot of times on the weekends, and, go out into town. My favorite thing to do was to get the Habu Sake, which is a viper snake that is drowned in sake and then dealt with and sits for a month. So you're getting a little bit of poison in the drink, a little bit. And it was said that it's good for some injuries, including back injuries and things like that. It's medicinal. I think it originated in Vietnam. But anyways, like to do that. Uh, saw some. What was it? A female metal cover band of sorts at a little shithole bar, and they were very good for being three little Asian women. They were good. That type of thing. But yeah, I mean, Japan was somewhere I wouldn't mind going back to. I did not get to see Tokyo. We largely were training, of course, but we did go around a bit. I don't remember the different cities, but yeah, Japan was cool.
Yeah, I'd love. We did 3 years in Germany. I'd love to go back to Germany. We were actually scheduled to go back to Germany to visit uh, our old landlord. We've remained friends with them over the years, um, and we were going to go back for their 50th wedding anniversary, and the pandemic hit, and you know, plane tickets were canceled and flights were canceled and all of that shit happened and we were unable to get back over there. I'd still like to go back over there and visit. A lot of it's changed. A lot of the military bases, the places I was stationed, they're all closed down.
Hmm.
Uh, but I would love to go back over there.
I did not
Korea,
see Germany.
I would go back to Korea actually, just to as a tourist. I
Hmm.
think that would be kind of cool, just to see some of the sights that I never got to see because I was young, single, and
Hmm.
spending most of my time down in the Ville at night drinking. So
Hmm.
I never got to see any of the really cool stuff.
Yeah, yeah. I didn't go to Europe at all. I didn't see Germany or Italy or anything like that. But we did stop in UAE, Dubai,
Hmm.
and Philippines, Guam, Australia. I think it was Perth, if I'm correct. Dealt with the Aborigines, all that stuff. And a little, I think it's a little island. It's called East Timor. Timor Leste is another name for it. But anyways, that seemed to me like probably the poorest country I was in. Everywhere that we drove through was like people living in literal shacks. I mean, like broken down shacks. That's all I saw there. And then we trained with some Australian Marines there, and I think it was in East Timor, and did some jungle warfare training, which was cool, I guess. Ran into some snakes, had a little green viper fall out of a tree right next to me while we were doing training where we had to close our eyes and map out the distance and direction of enemy coming towards us, that type of thing. And you hear a little something next to you and it's like, oh, that's just a little green viper falling out of a fucking tree. uh,
Oh,
you
that's
know d-
all. Oh, okay.
yeah, yeah, no big deal. But we were used to all the rattlesnakes in Camp Pendleton, so I don't think it was as big of a deal as it would have been. But yeah, dealt with stuff like that, scorpions, some wildlife. Did some cold weather training in Bridgeport, cut off a goat's head, and then we cooked it up into a stew. Hikes up to, I think, like 1,300 elevation, or 13,000 rather. So a little over 2 miles up in the air. Carrying heavy shit while at times not having food and water. Watching some of the strong guys or who you thought were strong in your platoon fall out of hikes. Get vertigo, start to lose sense of where the fuck they are. Crying like little kids just because they're so confused and lost.
Well,
So
yeah,
yeah,
the oxygen gets so thin at those altitudes. I mean, above 10,000 feet, you're supposed to have oxygen when you're in an airplane.
yeah,
So
yeah. They gave us like a couple, maybe it was a week or two. I think a week when we would get to Bridgeport because I did go twice, and one of the times was for a month, but it was like an acclimation week. Like a week that one's body would adjust to the lower oxygen density. stuff like that.
Yeah, that's so. It sounds like you got around quite a bit.
Yeah, yeah, I did okay. As a brand new senior, no longer a boot after first deployment, I was selected to be the FDC chief, which was a staff sergeant billet and essentially in charge of the gun line during mortar operations. And really didn't want to be FDC or the chief, but you know how that goes, your choice and all while you're in. And I think all in all did a pretty good job. I was always good with math, and math was a part of, integral part of FDC, right? Mapping out where your rounds are going to end up, and therefore, you know, where the gun should be.
Yep, the whole
Uh,
mill thing.
yeah, yeah. So ended up getting a NAM during one of my deployments as my second deployment as the FDC chief, which was cool. Just given that not a ton of them are given out. There's probably 2 or 3, maybe 4 people in my whole platoon throughout my enlistment that ended up with a NAM. So although I don't think of myself as having been the best Marine, because it's true, I guess I did okay.
It sounds like you had a good time. It sounds like it wasn't a bad experience for you. I mean, I've had other people on that have had not so much fun during their enlistments, and then people like me that I joined and really had no direction what I was going to do, and when I joined, I stayed in, and then I got out, and then I stayed in the reserves, IRR, and then regular reserve unit,
Hmm.
and then National Guard, and managed to stay on active duty after my last deployment, and got out with my full 20+ year retirement. So it all worked out in the end.
Yeah, I was telling somebody the other day that out of all my brothers, guys who got in at the same time as me relatively into the battalion and platoon, not one of them re-enlisted, not one. And I think there was about 30 of us. So, you know, we had a good time, but it wasn't too good. Definitely, uh, I don't want to say disgruntled, but, you know, the guys were, including myself, were just not up for re-enlisting. We didn't want any more. 4 was enough.
Yeah, and that's understandable. That's understandable. And I've been in so long. I've watched how things have changed. Um, there was when I got out in '92, and then went back into a reserve unit in like 2000, 2001. Big changes into the National Guard, and then back on Title 10 active duty for deployments. Um, yeah, it was the changes have been pretty dramatic over the years. I mean, I've actually gone through one, two, three different uniform changes, and
Hmm.
that's just your utility uniforms.
Yeah, yeah.
I've been around that long. Um, because when they figured it all out, I had 33 years. That's including my IRR, Reserve Guard, everything all
Right.
lumped together. I've had an ID card since 1978. I've always had a military ID card. And
Mm.
to this day, I still have one. It's my retired ID card. Um,
I
so,
lost mine. I was so mad when I lost my what's it called? DOD
CAC,
card. What
CAC card.
CAC? Yeah. Yeah, I lost it after I got out. I lost my whole wallet, and I was like, "Damn, I'm not getting another one of those."
No. Yeah, I've still got my very last ID card. They let me keep it, uh, as most places do, because once it expires, it expires. It's not good for anything else. Um, hey, we're winding up, coming close to an hour, and that's I usually try and cut it off right at an hour,
Cool.
um, just because people tend to uh, drop off the path after about an hour. But it was really great to have you on. Sorry about the technical difficulties this morning
No,
with the
all good.
links and not having access and that kind of stuff, but eventually we'll get it figured out. And I'll be over to participate in your panels
Cool.
uh, as time allows. Because, like I said, I am semi-retired and I have plenty of time to do that. And again, I appreciate having you on.
Yeah. Thank you for having me.
Yep. And guys, go over, check him out. Check out his channel. If you want to put a plug in you should be able to post a link for your channel. If not, Based Oracle, look it up. It'll come up. Uh, and he's got this. This is his standard uniform for YouTube. The black shirt, the black hat. Is that an RE320 mic?
I it's an RE. I don't remember the rest of the nomenclature. It might be a 320. I can't remember. But got it pretty recently. I had a piece of shit one which I didn't like, and
Well,
before
you
that I
don't
had
have.
a
That's definitely not a piece of shit. The
no
one
no
you
no
got right
not
now.
not this one. But I did have an damn SMB SM7B, right? Isn't that what it's called? The nicer, damn, I can't remember the name brand. Anyways, I had that for some years and ended up losing it. So finally got another decent mic here.
Yes, you do. You have a very decent mic. That's, uh, and I made mention of that. I said he's definitely got a high class mic. That thing's amazing. I'm running a one of the Ohio PR40s,
Oh, okay.
which is a similar mic to that one, but that one definitely has the better range to it, to say the
Yeah.
least.
Plus, I wanted to talk over people when I feel like, you know.
Oh yes, yes. It's very penetrating. All right. Thanks, guys. Everybody that tuned in today, I appreciate it. As always, we'll try and keep this Throat Punch Thursday thing going. Thanks so much, and we'll see what we get next week. Based Oracle, thanks again, and everybody have yourself a great day.